Hey everyone. Okay, so I just wanted to pop on and do a quick video just about comfort eating. Um for years and years and years I have been a comfort eater. And although I've got more control over my comfort eating now, I'm not perfect by any means. I still have times where I'll just sit and have some chocolate, or well, chocolate is my go-to, I suppose, when I'm comfort eating. We've all got different types of food that we just think I'm just going to eat it. So I just thought I would do like a video, because since I've got more of control over it, it's kind of made me think about how I used to be, and how I've maybe got control of it, and just to kind of share that with you and share some kind of things that I do that might be helpful, if you are the same as me. So kind of what we're doing when we're stress eating is we're just using food to make us feel better. So it's not it's emotional eating, but it is just stress related. um so we're eating for emotional reasons rather than hunger. I mean, if you're like me, like I would have a bad day at work, and then I would get home and I'd open the cupboard and I'd just eat chocolate. And that would be it. I would just go for it. And it wasn't because I was hungry, it wasn't because I needed chocolate. I just, in my mind, I just wanted chocolate, and that is what I used to do. And so, to be fair, food for me was linked to every emotion. If I was happy, I would eat. If I was sad, I would eat. If I was fed up, I would eat. If I was excited, I would eat. If I was lonely, I would eat. It doesn't matter what it was, the emotion, that was me, and I would eat food. It's and some people have more control than others. Some people think, oh, I don't know how on earth you do it. But I had absolutely no control over the emotion and what food I ate. And to be honest, I always loved it at the time. So I always used to love giant chocolate buttons. Giant chocolate buttons were my favourite. And I would get a bag of them, and I could easily demolish a bag of them. I could easily demolish a bar of Galaxy, a decent sized one. I'm not just talking the little bars, I'm talking the decent sized Galaxies. So I used to just sit and just used to emotionally eat it. And then just used to go. And it was always due to kind of feelings that had been triggered in me. So whether that was kind of something to do with work, whether I'd made a mistake at work, or whether it was something to do with family, or I'd maybe upset somebody and I didn't mean to, or anything like that. Kind of, it was always triggered by an emotion, by a behaviour, and the behaviour then triggers the emotion that then follows on to my behaviour. So kind of, and we consume unnecessary calories when we do it, don't we? So although I was eating healthy, so I thought, and watching what I was eating, I was still eating calories that were just, and the ridiculous amount of calories. I mean, the calories that are in a bag of giant chocolate buttons is unbelievable. And I used to be able to just easily sit and demolish it, and then that was it. It was gone. So it was calories that kind of I didn't necessarily need, but I just wanted. And to be honest, it's kind of, I used to feel quite powerless, I suppose, over the whole emotional eating and what I was doing, because I just used to use food as an emotional resource that wasn't right for me. But then, and to be honest, like I always used to think, I'll never get control of it. I have no idea what to do, and this is just me. There is possible to make positive changes, and it's just finding the strategies that are right for you, to be able to manage that and be able to do it. So if you're sitting there thinking, well, am I an emotional eater? You might be thinking, I've never really thought about it. Then kind of think about, like, do you eat when you're stressed? Is that when you turn to food? Do you eat when you're just not hungry, but you just go and you just eat? Do you make rewards for foods like I used to? So it doesn't matter what it is, you've got reward for food, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Do you reward yourself with food? Does food make you feel safe? I always felt comforted when I used to sit and binge on my chocolate. It was just a comfort thing, and I always felt safe with it. And then sometimes, do you feel out of control when it comes to food? I know I've at times I've been one extreme to another, to be fair, and I've sought ultimate control over food, and then I've also not really cared, and eaten whatever. So I've been at either end of the spectrum in relation to that. But I suppose kind of we've got to think about kind of emotional hunger, and emotional hunger is that feeling where it's just like, right, it comes on suddenly, and you just go to the cupboard, you craving chocolate, you're craving crisps, you're craving something savoury, and you just go and you just eat it. And it's not kind of something that's planned in your meal plan. If you plan your meals, it's nothing like that. You just immediately get hungry and you just want that food. I know I used to do things like stop at a petrol station and get the chocolate there. So it wasn't the fact that I was hungry. I just used to want the chocolate. And to be honest, I used to mindless eat. And by mindless eat, I mean kind of, I used to eat the bag of giant chocolate buttons and it used to be gone, and I used to feel in the bag and be like, what, they're gone? So it wasn't the fact that like I was enjoying the bag of chocolate buttons, it wasn't the fact that like I was savouring the taste, it was in, and it's gone. So that's what I mean by mindless eating. So if you're mindful eating, you're very conscious and aware of what you're eating and what you put in your mouth. But when I used to more often than now, but when I comfort eat, I do, it just goes down my neck as quick as possible, get it down. So it just like, and once I'd eaten it, I still wasn't satisfied. I could probably have another bag of giant chocolate buttons if I'd had one, so it's like it doesn't satisfy you because you're still just eating, and you just want more and more and more of what you're doing because it's triggered not by hunger but by emotional hunger, I suppose. So, and it's not my stomach that's driving the hunger, it is my head. It is what is going on up here that is saying to you, go and get some food, go and get that chocolate, go and get them crisps. So it's not the stomach that's saying, I'm hungry, go and feed me. It's my brain saying, you are feeling stressed, you need some sugar, off you go and get some sugar. So it's kind of, afterwards, I always felt regret, guilt, regret. And it's a vicious cycle of, I used to be very emotional about my weight and about the size I was, and it used to really get me down. And then I used to eat chocolate to comfort me, and then I used to feel guilty because I then sat and ate a bag of giant chocolate buttons, and then what? It's just like I've said, I did calories that I didn't really need. And then it's just a cycle. It was just a cycle that I was in regular. Like I was the emotional eater quite a lot. And it just was a cycle that I needed to break. So kind of when I became a coach and I started, learning about food and learning about nutrition and starting to really get a grips with managing my nutrition and managing my lifestyle, recognizing my stresses, recognizing my thought patterns in relation to my behavior, and recognizing that I needed to have a total mind shift change in relation to my life. Kind of, I started thinking about the triggers and thinking, well, what situations, what places and what feelings kind of trigger my emotional eating, because that is key to kind of understanding why I would do such a thing. And you know, and thinking about like, is it positive feelings, is it negative feelings? Because generally what we do is we're stuffing our emotions inside of us by eating all this mindless food, which is totally delicious. And temporarily, while I'm eating that bag of giant chocolate buttons, my emotions are silent. But then as soon as I finish that giant chocolate buttons, that is it. My emotions are back. And sometimes they're even worse because of that guilt feeling that comes back with it. So it's thinking about what triggered them emotions. It's thinking about, am I bored? You know, is it the fact that I'm sitting and I just want something to do, so I just go to the kitchen cupboard and have a look, and then I just eat it, because I do that as well. And you know, I still do that now. I've got more control now. I will open it and then I'll close it and I'll walk away. I've also got more control as I will open it. I will have a little bit of chocolate and walk away. But you know, there are still times I will open it and I will find whatever else is in there, because that's just how I'm feeling sometimes. You know, we're all human. It's the fact of life. So doing that kind of distracts you, doesn't it, for a little bit while you're looking, and you look in the cupboards and you think, what am I going to have? And then you eat and it distracts you. It distracts you away from your emotions. But at the same time, like, it brings on those negative emotions, particularly if you're like me. If you haven't got issues with your weight, you may not feel the same. But when I had issues with my weight, it was these were biggie things for me, and I used to find it really difficult to then kind of manage the fact that I'd binge eaten, to be fair. But it's also kind of think about what other triggers there might be. So you might have childhood habits. So did your parents reward you with food? If you did something good, did you get food? If you did something bad, did you get food? You know, is it just something that you've just grown up with, and that's the way of life, and that is what you do when you've done something good or when you're feeling sad? You just eat. Do you eat because you think back to times where you've eaten certain meals or enjoyed certain places with people? So you go to the seaside to eat fish and chips, you know, and you might do it regular. You know, so is it triggered to those kind of emotions from childhood memories and things that kind of trigger you to go and eat the food? Is it social influences? You know, like a lot of our lives now are evolved around social events, whether that is eating out for meals, whether it's drinking. But a lot of it is kind of, and although the social element and going out and enjoying it with your friends is stress relieving, actually when you're out, it can be quite difficult to keep focus and determination on the fact that you want to be healthy. So you're going to choose chicken and veg, you're going to use steak and veg, you're not going to pick lasagna and chips or pizza and chips. You're not going to have a starter and you're not going to have a pudding. And then if you are good, sometimes people around you will be like, oh, don't be daft, there's nothing wrong with you, have yourself a pizza, you know. And then you think like, oh, go on then. Because I used to do exactly the same. Nowadays, with me having my stomach issues and being gluten-free, not quite as easy to do that. But at the same time, I used to do it a lot, and I used to think, oh yeah, all right then, or I'll be good tonight. No, I'll have a treat tonight and I'll be good tomorrow. And then tomorrow would come and something else would come up and I would do exactly something similar and eat something similar. You know, and so it used to be a snowball. And then if I had spoilt my diet, say Wednesday, Thursday, and I'd maybe binged eaten, or I'd been out for a social event and given in to temptation, then that would be my mindset saying, all right, I've spoilt myself this week, I will start again on Monday. And then I would give myself a good few days to eat, and I would enjoy those days, and then I would start again on Monday. Whereas that is kind of where the accountability groups for me has been key, because if I've had that emotion and that difficulty, then the accountability groups has got me straight back on track and straight back on to kind of think, nope, I'm not waiting until Monday. I'm getting back on it today and I will focus on it. And that is kind of a big emotional kind of strategy that I've developed over the past 6 months, 7 months of doing the coaching and the online workouts. And then it's just thinking about stress, because actually stress releases a hormone cortisol, the hormone cortisol, and with that, it kind of gives us this burst. Well, we want sugary foods from it. Like, it triggers it. We want foods, whether these are salty foods or sugary foods. We want them, and then it gives us bursts of energy and bursts of pleasure. So you may not have been like me, and you may not have thought, well, I feel absolutely rubbish after eating that. You may think, yes, I feel fantastic now I've had that. I'm sorted. I'm ready to go. But really, it's just uncontrolled stress, and all you're getting is the cortisol release, and then you get the slump later on, and then you feel rubbish. So really, overall, it is just that uncontrolled stress that really triggers us to go and do that emotional eating. And that is why, if you follow me on social media and things, that it's finding strategies to be able to support yourself in relation to having a balanced lifestyle. So every day, I'm a therapist at work, and I promote health and well-being to people with physical and mental health. And it's all about you as an individual. So it's finding what is key for you to help you manage your stress. There's loads and loads of strategies out there, but kind of what will work for me may not work for you. So it's important to kind of look and think, right, okay, I'm going to give this a go. This is my thing, and this is when I live in the moment and I don't feel stressed, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it regular, and then you begin to manage your stress better. So kind of some alternatives that I've done, obviously exercise. Exercise for me is, and to be fair, I started exercise as a bit of a punishment to myself, and I used to go to the gym. Obviously I wanted to lose weight, so the only purpose of me going to the gym was to lose weight. Now I still go to the gym, but I go because I enjoy it, and I do it for the health benefits. And it's not a punishment anymore. It's just an enjoyable thing that I absolutely love to do. I challenge myself, and and getting the changes that I've got has been the reward, and kept me motivation. But it wasn't always like that, and I used to have to force myself to go. But once I started feeling the benefits mentally of what the exercise did for me, not just physically, mentally, that's when I used to happen. Because I might have had a bad day at work, I would go to the gym, I'd walk out, I'd feel calm, I'd feel good, and then I wouldn't worry about it. Probably in the middle of the night I would start worrying about it, but as I walked out of the gym, I felt much calmer than what I did driving home from work, thinking about all the things that were going on in my head. There's things like mindfulness, which again is an amazing strategy. If you've not looked at it, look at the blog on my page. It gives you some tips and strategies about how you can put mindfulness into your daily life. It's things like, if you're tired, just go have a bath, get wrapped up in your blanket, get your onesie on, put a nice film on. These are just things that I do to kind of give me that feeling of comfort, rather than turn into a bag of giant chocolate buttons. If I do want a little bit of sugar and I think I'm not going to fight it, then I will go and get a little bit of dark chocolate, because it's richer. You don't want as much, and you feel like I've had my sugar. I'm okay now. I can go get back in my blanket, or go and get in the bath and enjoy it. And then if I'm bored, I go and visit friends. I might do some reading. I might stick a film on. So if you're really outdoorsy, then put your shoes on and go out for a walk. That's not my style, but whatever it is that you are passionate about, if it's drawn, if it's art, if it's knitting, if it's playing football, just get the ball and just go and kick it off a wall. Just do something that you enjoy, that can distract yourself away from the stressor in relation to what's driving you to do the emotional eating. It is super hard, and you know, it's a challenge that if you are an emotional eater, you know, it's something that I battle with all the time. And just because I've got a healthy lifestyle now does not mean I have those days where I just want to eat and eat and eat, and it's difficult, particularly if you're feeling stressed. But kind of what I do now if I'm feeling stressed is I just turn my computer on and I press play and I do a workout. And whether it's 20 minutes yoga or a 30-minute cardio or whatever it is, I now just use my exercise as a release from the stress that I'm experiencing. Or you know, like, but it's just about having a balance, and it's about managing our thoughts. And if you're doing something that you enjoy doing, then you are going to be focused on that activity, and you're not going to be thinking about the trigger to the emotional eating, and you're not going to be thinking about the food that's related to the emotional eating. You're going to be enjoying that activity for that moment, and that's what's important. And that's how I suppose I've found what drives me and supports me in relation to controlling my emotional eating. So I hope kind of talking about my journey with emotional eating has kind of given you some ideas and some tips and some thoughts about kind of what you might go ahead and you might do, just to give you, and it's not easy, and it will be repetitive, and you will keep doing it, but you know, you can manage it, and that's the most important thing. That I never thought 2 years ago, if you'd asked the girl that I was, would you be able to manage your emotional eating, I would have said no. There's no way I could have done it, because to be fair, it was a little bit out of control sometimes. Whereas actually it's just about thinking positive and thinking, no, I am in control, I can do this, and I will manage it. And think about the goals of what you want. Think about why you don't want to do that emotional eating. Although it's hard, it's just thinking about changing that thought process around food and around your stresses so that you're able to find another escape. So I hope it's helped. If you want to discuss any more, then just send me a message and I'll be happy to talk to you. Or drop a comment below as well, and I will get back to you. All right, see you soon.